everybody, and welcome back to a new episode where we learn good. We play our game in our own changed setting and universe of Waterdeep, now called Waterdale, with new elements of the Industrial Revolution. Of course, our key feature remains a long-lost treasure. Last episode, Edmund woke up from his coma, comforted by Gamaya. He spoke to Gamaya about what happened and mostly Fletch, who was left behind, abandoned on an island. Fletch, who was now alone, together with new, highly dangerous poisons he bought, as well as a strange box from a strange shop. But without further ado, let's all scoot into the paths of a new adventure. Today the scenery opens with the groaning sway of wood and iron. Fletch's room rocks gently with the movement of the ship, every creak of the hull reminding him that he is finally going home. The sea outside is restless, waves slamming softly against the vessel as it cuts through the dark blue waters towards Eldor. Somewhere above deck, muffled footsteps pass, followed by the low call of sailors working through the afternoon. It had taken far too much convincing to get Caspian to agree to this. Too many arguments, too much begging, but eventually, the captain had relented. And now Fletch was here, trapped in the ocean that stretched endlessly between him and the people he'd been left behind from. Gamaya, Edmund. The names alone leave a bitter knot in his chest. The room smells faintly of salt, damp wood, old paper, and ink. Fletch sits near the window with his diary as the pen scratches quietly against the page. Occasionally, the ship jolts hard enough to drag the ink into crooked lines. There isn't much else to do besides write, besides think. And thinking is dangerous right now, because every hour at sea is another hour wondering what he'll walk back into once Eldor finally appears on the horizon. Wondering how bad Edmund truly got after the overdose. Wondering whether Gamaya has given up on her revenge. Wondering if either of them even realized how badly it hurt to be left behind.
Dear friend, the strangest thing happened today. I am gonna bother you with the whole story. I'm too lazy to write all that. But anyways, I came across a shop owned by a siren today. A bonny lass, perhaps a wee bit crazy, but rather kind, but also airy. She can stuff she couldn't possibly can, like my name and what I needed, which freaked me out to be quite honest. And when you left, there was just nothing there, no shop at all, just an empty alleyway like nothing had ever been there. But strange as that may be, that isn't even why my head's minge. It's what came after that I didn't understand. You see, when I entered the shop, I suddenly had a bag full of money. With that, I didn't mean a wee bit. 567 coins. Can you imagine? I didn't care where it possibly came from. I just suddenly felt a weight and there it was. Together with this box, I never bought it, but suddenly it was among all the other stuff. It kind of freaks me out. I didn't care who left it with me, and so I tried to leave behind. I didn't want any possibly cursed stuff with me, but it just keeps returning to me. No matter how far I throw it out or to whoever I give it, it just keeps coming back to me. Reappearing back on my desk every single time. Like it's never even moved. I swear, I feel like I'm completely on my head. First the bloody mirror and now this. They can send me straight off to the loony bin if you ask me.
The scene shifts from the endless blue of the ocean to the quiet dimness of Edmund's bedroom. The curtains are only partially open, letting soft afternoon light spill across the bed in streaks of gold. The room is still heavy with the lingering scent of medicine, candle smoke, and the sharp bitterness of herbs left forgotten in cups along the bedside of the table. But it no longer feels like a sick room. Not entirely. Edmund lies propped against the pillows, still confined to bed rest, though far less ghostly than he had been days prior. Some color has finally returned to his face, his hair is less disheveled, his breathing is no longer shallow and frighteningly weak. Even the tension in his expression has eased into something almost familiar again. That arrogance slowly rebuilding itself now that he has enough strength to wear it. He looks irritated by being stuck in bed more than anything else, which honestly is probably a good sign. But Gamaya, unlike him, she still looks exhausted. The relief has begun settling in, yes, but only now that the terror has finally loosened its claws from around her throat. The last several days have clearly carved themselves into her. There are dark bags beneath her eyes, her movements slower than usual, shoulders heavy with lingering tension she still cannot quite force herself to release. She hasn't truly rested, not really, not since finding him. Even now, she keeps glancing towards him constantly, as if afraid he might suddenly stop breathing the moment she looks away, checking him without realizing she's even doing it, listening for movement, for coughing, for signs that something is wrong again.
You look awful, honestly. People will think you are the one dying.
Oh, I look awful? Interesting criticism coming from a man who looked like a reanimated corpse not even a few days ago.
Compassionate.
I was compassionate. Very compassionate. I spoon-fed you soup.
I was dying, apparently. I am allowed a little dramatics.
You're lucky you're pretty.
Pretty.
Delicate. Pathetic. Frail.
Careful.
Oh, what? You'll collapse on me. You know, for someone with such a reputation, you're actually very shy.
What? No, I am not shy.
You absolutely are. One of the most notorious rakes in all of Waterdale. Scandalous, desired, dangerous.
Oh, thank you.
And yet, you still act shy every time I flirt with you for more than 30 seconds.
That is because you are aggressive. I simply have standards.
I think people expect you to be far more scandalous than you actually are. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen you casually affectionate with anybody. You flirt, yes, but what else?
Gamaya.
I know you. I've watched you for years.
Terrifying, actually.
Edmund.
Well, I do not kiss.
You do not kiss people.
Not generally, no.
That can't possibly be true.
It is. I enjoy attention. That does not mean I owe anyone romance.
Romance?
Kissing someone is romantic.
It can be.
And
yes.
I am not interested in misleading people. If you kiss someone, they assume attachment, intentions, romance. It leads people on unnecessarily.
You sound 80 years
I
old.
sound considerate.
That is not what Waterdeep says about you. And the nudity.
I also prefer women not to see me undressed, for the same reasons.
Edmund. Good.
Good.
I like knowing there are still things about you no one else got to first.
But despite the teasing, something in her expression softens afterward, because somehow, strangely, this feels important. This infamous, untouchable, arrogant, difficult, impossible man, Edmund Schulze, admitting these things to her so plainly. Not to anyone else, to her. And judging by the faint tension lingering beneath his composure, he knows exactly what he's giving away by saying it aloud. Gamaya smiles then. Smaller this time. Warmer. Edmund eyes her suspiciously.
I want to be your bodyguard. And your mistress.
A mistress!
You sound shocked.
Yes, for you to lower yourself to such standards.
Lower?
You cannot possibly mean that seriously.
The amusement remains in his voice, in his mind. A mistress belonged to the ugly architecture of aristocrat marriages. a hidden indulgence. Wives were for legacy, appearances, heirs. Mistresses were where men placed desire. The scraps left from the marriage. Gamaya opens her mouth, but Edmund, predictably, continues before she can properly explain herself.
I knew you were desperate for my affections, but Gamaya is side affair. No, alright, if you are content with second place, if you want my scraps, be my guest.
You are assuming the boring definition.
But it is what a mistress means.
To you, maybe. No, actually, never mind. I think I prefer this.
This.
You'll learn eventually.
She laughs under her breath, though there's visible fondness, because the problem is that they are not imagining the same thing at all. To Gamaya, this means something far older in feeling. Not hidden, not lesser, something chosen. Devotion wrapped together with trust, protection intertwined with intimacy, the privilege of standing close enough to matter, to be allowed near the parts of a person others never reach. Not merely a lover, but someone permitted to command softness from someone otherwise untouchable. Someone listened to, someone trusted with vulnerability, someone belonging at his side rather than behind him. Loyalty for loyalty. The day drifts onward slowly after that, and far from Eldor, the ocean finally gives Fletch back to the land. By the time the ship reaches Squalor's End, evening has already begun swallowing the harbor whole. The district greets him exactly as he remembers it. Wet cobblestones slick with seawater and grime, leaning buildings pressed tightly together like rotting teeth, dock workers shouting across narrow piers beneath clouds of smoke and salt. Squalor's End always smelled of rust, fish, rain, and desperation. Home, in the ugliest sense of the word. Fletch wastes little time there. The moment his paws hit the docks, the waiting begins to ache unbearably inside his chest again, sharper now that Eldor is finally within reach. So, he takes the first carriage willing to climb away from the harbor district. The transition is gradual at first. The filth thinning, the roads are widening, and eventually, Waterdeep begins dressing itself back into elegance. Gas lamps glow warmer here, streets grow quieter, carriages become polished instead of battered. Tall townhouses rise in neat rows behind iron gates and trimmed hedges. Eldor. Beautiful, expensive, controlled Eldor. By the time the carriage finally slows before the house, Fletch barely waits for it to fully stop before stepping out. For a moment, he simply stands there, looking at it. Home. Not the ship, not the harbor. This place. Their home. The house looks fuller somehow than when he last saw it. More alive. The front doors open before he can even knock properly. A member of staff greets him almost immediately, composed and professional despite the late hour. The sight still feels strange enough to momentarily pull Fletch from his thoughts. Right, staff. Of course, Edmund had done this properly. A fully functioning household now. Servants, order, routine, structure. Something befitting the old aristocrat instincts Edmund could never quite abandon, no matter how hard he pretended otherwise. The man begins introducing himself politely, explaining that Mr. Schulze had ensured the house would now remain fully staffed going forward. But the words barely settle, because now that he's here, truly here, impatience crushes everything else beneath it. Introductions can wait, formalities can wait. The moment Fletch steps into the bedroom, he sees her first. Gamaya sits near Edmund's bed, in complete stillness. One leg crossed over the other, posture relaxed, in appearance alone, watchful, predatory, like some great creature stationed before a wounded thing it had decided belonged to it. And on the bed, propped against the pillows, far more alive than Fletch feared he would be, sits Edmund.
You look less dead than I expected.
An improvement, apparently.
You scared the hell out of me.
I mean, it was a long time coming.
No.
Yes. I drink. I knew what I was doing to myself.
But the drugs.
Yes, the drugs. The drugs you gave to him.
Gamaya.
You left him alone with substances that should never have been mixed together.
I didn't think...
That is the problem. I have not forgiven you for your part in this. I know you care about him, but caring about someone is not the same as knowing how to take care of them. I grew up being responsible for people younger, siblings, family. There was always someone who needed watching over. So listen carefully. If something like this ever happens, where you do not know what to do, you come to me. You ask questions, you communicate. You stop making reckless decisions because you're uncomfortable discussing things properly. Edmund is my priority, and right now, you are bad for him.
But they...
No, I am willing to start over. Truly, but understand me clearly first. If your carelessness hurts him again, there will be consequences. I will decide how severe.
In a week I will be perfectly fine.
No, you won't.
In a week I will be fine. We know the next clue leads to the ball. So I suggest we stop behaving like mourners and begin buying appropriate outfits.
Reunited at last. Yes, there are some bumps in the road, but all the characters are back under one roof, and with all of their gazes turned towards the treasure once again. A brand new start. Fresh. Exciting. A new plot. New faces. New dangers. And a brand new season. Season 2 of the Skillbent Sigil. Underway. For that, we need a little break, but fret not, we will be back before you know it. In the meantime, follow our socials too. Shameless shameless self-promotions. Okay. We will still make enough content. We will be posting shorts on YouTube, some behind the scenes too. And with that, I think that's it. Thank you for listening to Season 1 of Ludenscoot, with many more to follow. Next season, we will reveal a new teammate for the Skillbent Sigil, an elven girl by the name of Aspen Arendis. But that's not all. We will finally be heading to the circus too. A supposedly massive lead in the search for the treasure. Family will be appearing, and past lives torn apart and resurfacing. Our group will be in chains. But for now, we've bothered you enough. Bye-bye. Laters on the show.
Adios!